In the dusty colony town of Redvale, life was not easy. The planet was dry, hot, and full of rocks. People lived there only because of the deep mines under the ground. They worked hard every day, digging for rare metals the earth needed. In this hard place lived a quiet boy named Milo. Milo was 12 years old, but he didn't act like other kids. He didn't laugh or run or play. He sat alone during lunch. He didn't speak unless someone asked him a question, and even then, his answers were short and strange. He always carried a small notebook and a pencil. In it, he drew circles, lines, and symbols no one could understand. Some people said they looked like machines or stars. Others said they were just random scribbles. But Milo stared at them for hours like they meant something big. Because of this, the other children called him names. "Hey, alien brain," one kid shouted during recess. "Why don't you draw us a spaceship and leave?" Laughed another. Milo said nothing. He just hugged his notebook tighter and walked away. The teachers didn't care. They had too much work and too few people. They only told the bullies to calm down and walked off. Milo lived with a foster family. They weren't cruel, but they didn't understand him either. They gave him food and a bed, but not much else. The man who ran the house once said, "That kid gives me the chills. He doesn't blink right." But Milo wasn't strange. He was different. And different is not always a bad thing. Every night, when the colony lights went dim and the sky turned black, Milo climbed to the top of the storage tower. It was the tallest building in Redvale. He sat there for hours, looking at the stars with wide eyes. He wasn't just watching. He was listening. There were whispers in the air, signals, codes, beeps and tones. No one else could hear them, but he could. Old satellites still circled the planet. Some were dead. Some were weak. But a few were still talking in old languages. Milo could understand them. One night while drawing on the tower, he heard something new, a soft hum in his ears. It was not from space. It was from the ground deep below the colony. A pulse, slow and steady, like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant. Milo's pencil moved fast. He drew the pattern of the pulse. The lines formed. A strange shape, a circle with jagged edges and a line through the middle. He didn't know what it was, but it felt important. The next day at school, the bullies came again. One boy named Nate grabbed Milo's notebook and held it high. "Look, everyone. It's the secret alien code." "Maybe he's a spy," said another. "We should tell the guards." They laughed and pushed Milo. "Give it back," Milo said quietly. "What was that, freak?" "Give it back," he said again, louder. Nate opened the notebook. "Let's see what your alien friends are saying today." Suddenly, the air around Milo shimmered. A light crackled around his fingers, soft, like static from an old radio. Notebook flew from Nate's hands, landing gently back in Milo's arms. Everyone went silent. Milo looked at his hands, confused and scared. The light was gone now. Nate took a step back, his eyes wide. "You're not normal," he whispered. Milo didn't answer. He just turned and walked away. That evening, word spread fast through Redvale. The strange boy did something weird. He made the book fly without touching it. Adults brushed it off as nonsense. "Kids play tricks," they said. Maybe it was a magnet. But some people whispered about old tech, about lost science, about humans who could talk to machines. And a few remembered stories, very old stories, about the deep mines holding more than just metal. Far across town, an old man named Bren heard the rumors. Bren was strong and quiet, with gray eyes and a scar on his cheek. People didn't like him much. He had just come back from prison. Long ago, he had been a soldier. Then something happened, and he was locked away. No one knew the full story. Now he worked as a cleaner in the mining station. No one spoke to him, and he liked it that way. But when he heard the story about the boy and the floating book, something changed in his face. He stood still for a long time, thinking. Then he whispered to himself, No normal kid does that, unless... Later that night, Milo was back on the tower, drawing under the stars. Bren walked up slowly, careful not to scare him. "You're the boy they talk about," Bren said. Milo didn't reply. "Don't worry, I'm not here to laugh at you." Still, no answer. "I used to hear whispers too," Bren said. "Not from space, from machines, back when I was in the war." Milo looked up, surprised. "I saw men who could make drones stop flying just by thinking. I saw children who were born with strange gifts. Made, not born." Milo lowered his notebook. "I think you're one of them," Bren said. "And that means trouble is coming." Milo blinked. "I didn't ask for this." "I know," said Bren, "but you're not alone anymore." The people of Red Vale didn't talk much about Bren. They remembered him as a soldier, a good one. But they also remembered the day he was taken away in chains. 10 years ago, during the I Rebellion, Bren had disobeyed a direct order. He destroyed a secret military lab that was building illegal machines. Some said he was a hero. Others called him a traitor. The government didn't care. They sent him to prison. Now, after a long silence, Bren had returned. He had a heavy beard, rough hands, and tired eyes. He lived in a small shack near the edge of town, close to the mining zone. People didn't welcome him. They looked away when he passed. He didn't mind. He liked being left alone. But after hearing the story of the strange boy and the floating notebook, Bren couldn't stay quiet anymore. One morning he went to the school, wearing a dusty coat and heavy boots. The guard at the gate frowned. "What do you want here?" "I just want to speak to the boy, the quiet one, Milo." The guard laughed. "He's not much of a talker. You'll be wasting your time." "I'll take that chance." Milo was sitting under a tree near the back fence of the schoolyard. He was drawing in his notebook again, eyes focused, ears tuned to the silent signals around him. Bren walked up slowly. "I saw your drawing last night," Bren said. Milo didn't look up. "No one sees them. I do. That one you made circle. Line through the middle, it's not just a shape. That's the symbol of the old watch network. It was a communication signal from the war." "How did you draw that?" "I heard it," Milo said softly. "From the ground." Bren sat down beside him. "You hear machines, don't you?" Milo nodded. "I used to hear them too," Bren said. "Not like you, but close. I had a partner once, a tech whisperer. He could speak to drones, feel data streams, shut down weapons with just a thought. He disappeared in a mission. People like him weren't born. They were built." Milo finally looked at him. "Am I one of them?" "I don't know," Bren answered, "but I think you're something rare. And people don't like rare things. They fear them. That's why those kids treat you badly." Milo looked down. "I didn't want this. I want to understand the noise." "The noise might be a warning," Bren said. "And you may be the only one who can hear it." From that day, Bren began to watch over Milo. He showed up at the school gates. He walked with him on the roads. He taught him how to move quietly, how to listen not just with ears, but with instinct. The town didn't like it. Some called Bren dangerous. Others said he was using the boy, but Bren didn't care. He knew something was coming. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the rocky hills, Milo sat in Bren's shack, eating warm bread and looking at old maps. Bren placed a metal box on the table. "I kept this hidden for years," he said. "It was banned after the war. A pulse detector. It listens to the same waves you hear." He powered it on. At first, it buzzed softly. Then, slowly, the sound changed rhythmic beats, pulsing like a slow drum. "That's the signal," Milo said, eyes wide. "It's coming from under Red Vale," Bren said. "Deep down. Something old is waking up." Milo pointed at the notebook. "It speaks in patterns. Tells me to prepare the link." "I don't know what that means." Bren frowned. "I think it means connection, communication. It's not just noise, it's calling you." The next morning, soldiers arrived in Red Vale. They wore black armor and carried scanners. Their leader was a woman named Commander Rin. She had a cold face and spoke in short words. "We're here on orders from Central Security," she told the mayor. "We received reports of an energy event involving a child." The mayor tried to laugh it off. "Just kids being silly, Commander." Rin didn't smile. "Children don't activate military frequencies." She showed a device that blinked. With the same signal pattern Milo had drawn. "We're here to find the source." Milo saw them from the window of the shack. He backed away, frightened. "They're looking for me," he whispered. Bren nodded. "They think you're a threat. I didn't hurt anyone." "You don't have to. They fear what they don't understand." Outside, drones began to fly over the rooftops. Soldiers moved from house to house. "We need to go," Bren said. "Where?" "Down." Bren led Milo through an old path behind the mines. Few remembered it even existed. It led into dark tunnels once used for deep drilling. Now they were mostly empty. Inside, the air was heavy and still. Dust floated like fog. The walls were cold and black. Milo's head tilted. "It's louder." "Down here," he said. "The signal is clearer." Bren lit a lantern. "Good. That means we're close." They stopped near a metal door, rusted and locked. "This hatch leads to the old core line," Bren said. "It's where the machines used to talk to the Earth itself." Milo touched the door. It opened by itself. Behind the hatch was a small chamber, filled with strange lights and old screens. Wires hung like vines. Everything was broken, but not dead. Milo stepped forward. The lights flickered. Screens blinked. A low voice echoed. In the room, soft, broken, like a ghost. "Link accepted. Host found. Transmission begins. Milo's eyes glowed faintly. His hands hovered over a panel, moving as if guided by unseen force. Outside the tunnel, soldiers had tracked their trail. Commander Rin held up her scanner. It beeped fast. "They're close. Bring them back alive, if possible." Deep inside the tunnels beneath Redvale, Milo stood in front of the old machine core. His eyes glowed with soft blue light. The air around him felt charged, like before a storm. The ancient screen lit up with strange symbols, ones only Milo could understand. Beside him, Bren watched with silent worry. He had seen many things during the war, but nothing like this. Milo was not just reading the machine, he was talking to it. "Is it saying something?" Bren asked quietly. Milo nodded slowly. "It's not just a machine. It remembers things from long ago. It's showing me pictures, maps, plans, and..." He paused, eyes wide. "It's showing me myself." "What do you mean?" "It knows me. It says I was built with something called a core link gene. It's like a key. Only people like me can connect to it." Bren's face grew serious. "That's very old science. Most people think those projects were destroyed 100 years ago. They weren't," Milo said. "They were hidden." Above them, Commander Rin and her soldiers moved through the mining tunnels. Her scanner beeped louder with each step. "They're below us," she said. "Seal the exits. I want the boy alive." "Yes, Commander," the soldier replied. Back in the chamber, Milo sat near the main console. His fingers moved quickly, typing and drawing symbols on the screen. His mind was working faster than ever before. New knowledge poured in: how the machines under Redvale were built, how they connected to the satellites above, and something more. "There's a ship," Milo whispered. Bren leaned closer. "What kind of ship?" "It's far away, but it's moving toward this planet." "The signal I heard, it wasn't just a code. It was a warning. Something is coming." Bren's chest tightened. "How long?" Milo's voice was calm but serious. "Maybe 10 days. Maybe less." Bren stepped back and looked around the chamber. The place was full of dead machines, broken wires, and flickering lights. "Can we stop it?" Milo touched the wall. The lights turned bright. I think we can prepare, but we need time. And I need to connect with the satellites. I can do it from here. Bren nodded. Then we hold this place. Suddenly, the lights flickered again, but this time, it wasn't Milo. Footsteps echoed. Down the metal hall. They're here, Milo said. Bren pulled out an old mining drill and stood in front of the boy. Stay behind me. They don't care about your safety. From the shadows, Commander Rin appeared with 4 soldiers. Step aside, she said. We don't want to hurt the boy. You brought armed men to chase a child, Bren said. You already made your choice. The boy is not normal, Rin replied coldly. He's dangerous. No, Bren said. He's important. He's the only one who can save this colony. You think I'll believe that? Rin asked. You don't have to. Milo's voice came from behind. But you'll believe this. The room pulsed with a low hum. The screen behind Milo changed to show the stars and a dark shape moving toward the planet. Rin stepped closer. What is that? The ship I told you about, Milo said. It's not human. It eats power. It destroys worlds. It's coming. For us, Rin stared at the image, her jaw tightened. Why should I believe you? Because I've seen what it does, Milo replied. I don't know how I know, but I do. If we don't act now, Red Veil will be gone. Rin looked at her scanner, then at the boy, then at Bren. For the first time, she looked unsure. What do you need? She asked. Milo blinked. Help. Later that day, the soldiers pulled back. Commander Rin allowed Milo and Bren to stay inside the chamber. She even sent tools, batteries, and communication wires from the colony. Some people still feared Milo. Others began to respect him. Milo worked day and night. He built a direct link between the ancient core and the old satellites in orbit. He sent warning signals to nearby stations. He unlocked defense programs hidden for decades. But the strange thing was, he didn't just use the machines. He understood them like they were part of him. Even Bren couldn't follow everything Milo was doing. But he stayed by the boys' side, offering strength, food, and protection. One evening, Milo sat quietly on a rock outside the chamber, looking at the stars. Bren sat next to him. You okay, kid? He asked. Milo nodded. I feel bigger now. Like my head is full of things I never knew before. Is that scary? A little. But I'm not alone anymore. Bren smiled. No, you're not. There was a long silence. Then Milo asked, Why are you helping me? Bren looked up at the stars. Because I used to be like you. Different. Feared. I made mistakes. I lost people. I thought I didn't matter anymore. But you gave me a reason to fight again. Milo looked at him with soft eyes. You're not a bad man. And you're not a broken boy. They sat together in the quiet. 2 people once pushed aside by the world, now becoming the ones who might save it. Far above them, in the cold dark of space, the enemy ship moved closer. It was shaped like a shadow, with long arms that drifted like smoke. No lights, no sounds. Just a growing hunger that pulled energy from every star it passed. It had no face, no name, but it had a direction. And that direction was Red Veil. The sky over Red Veil looked peaceful, but below the ground, everyone was preparing for war. Milo sat in the old chamber, his fingers flying across the glowing screen. His eyes moved quickly, reading data that would confuse even trained engineers. Every beep, every pulse, every signal told him more about the dark ship coming closer. The enemy wasn't just powerful, it was ancient. It had destroyed many colonies before. It was not alive in the way humans understood, but it moved like a predator, always hunting energy, always silent. Beside Milo, Bren watched carefully. He had no special powers, but he knew what war looked like. And this time, he felt like the enemy was already inside the ground. How long before it arrives? Bren asked. Milo didn't stop working. 7 days, maybe 6. It's moving faster now. Can the defense system stop it? Milo shook his head. Not in their current state. But I found something. Something buried under Red Veil. Deeper than this chamber. Bren raised an eyebrow. What is it? A second core. Older. Hidden. Later that night, with the help of Commander Rin's team, they opened a tunnel beneath the main mining shaft. It led to a sealed door covered in dust and strange markings. Symbols neither human nor alien, something in between. Milo touched the surface. The door opened. Inside was a large room with a glowing pillar in the center. Around it were broken machines, old screens, and long dead wires. This is where it started, Milo said, walking slowly. This is the heart of Red Veil. You mean the colony? Bren asked. No, Milo replied. I mean the reason this colony exists. More than 100 years ago, Earth sent ships across the stars looking for places to mine and build. But Red Veil wasn't just chosen for its metal. The old leaders knew there was something hidden here, a forgotten machine, a warning system. Or maybe a weapon. They never told the people. Over time they covered it up. The truth became a rumor, then a myth, then nothing. But the machine was never dead. It had simply been waiting for someone like Milo. With Bren's help, Milo connected wires from the old pillar to the command console in the upper chamber. Sparks flew, lights blinked on. The floor shook as power rushed through long silent circuits. Commander Rin arrived, watching with folded arms. You found something big, she said. This machine talks to the satellites, Milo explained. But it can also do more. If I sync it with the colony's shield generator, I can turn the whole valley into a defense field. Will it stop the ship? She asked. It will slow it down, maybe hurt it. Rin gave a short nod. Do what you need. I'll handle the people. For the next 2 days, the colony turned into a working zone. Miners became builders. Mechanics ran cables across the rooftops. The mayor gave full control to Rin and her team. Still, fear spread through the town. Some people didn't trust Milo. They called him strange, dangerous. Others remembered how he had saved the school from a power surge just last week. They called him the tech boy. But no one denied one truth: Milo was their only hope. One night while working alone, Milo found a hidden file deep in the system. It was labeled Project Ember. He opened it. A video started. A scientist wearing an old Earth military badge spoke in a serious tone. If you're seeing this, then Project Ember has activated. That means the enemy has returned. The Ember child, born with the core link gene, will be drawn to the signal. He or she will complete the work we started. This colony exists to protect the child until the time comes. Do not fear the child. Do not stop him. He is the shield. The video ended. Milo sat quietly for a long time. He wasn't just an accident. He was meant to be here. The next day, Bren found Milo sitting on a rock, looking at the horizon. You all right? Bren asked. Milo nodded. I know who I am now. Bren sat beside him. That's a hard thing for anyone to say. I was created to stop the enemy, Milo said. That's why I hear machines, why I understand codes. Does that change anything? No, I still feel like me, but now I'm not afraid. Bren smiled. Good, because the sky's getting darker. The final piece of the defense grid was the shield generator at the edge of town. It was old, cracked, and barely working. Milo and Rin's best engineers worked to reprogram it. Milo connected it to the hidden core, feeding it energy from deep underground. At first, nothing happened. Then the shield blinked on stronger than ever before. It reached high into the sky, forming a soft blue dome over Red Veil. The people cheered. For the first time, hope filled their eyes. But Milo knew this was just the beginning. That night, as stars filled the sky, Milo sat with Bren one last time before the battle. Do you believe in fate? Milo asked. Bren thought for a moment. I Believe in choices. I didn't choose this, Milo said. No, Bren said, but you chose to help us. And that's what makes you human. Milo looked up. I'm glad you're here. And I'm proud of you, kid, Bren said. Whatever happens next, we face it together. They shook hands. Above them, the stars flickered, and one of them began to move. It wasn't a star. It was the enemy ship. The black ship in the sky moved slowly, but with purpose. It made no sound. It had no lights. Yet everyone in Redvale could feel its presence. Like a shadow that fell across the soul, cold and heavy. Milo stood on the highest tower, staring up. His eyes glowed faintly. Inside his mind, he heard strange pulses, sharp, broken patterns like language, but twisted. It's scanning us, Milo said. Behind him, Bren and Commander Rin stood with binoculars, watching the ship approach. How close is it? Rin asked. Just outside the upper orbit, Bren answered. Too big to land, but it's not here to talk. No, Milo added. It wants energy. It feeds on machines and people. Back underground, the old core chamber pulsed with life. The defense grid was active. Satellites were connected. Shield lines stretched across every building in Redvale. The town was ready, or at least they hoped so. As the black ship came closer, it released smaller objects, dark pods falling through the sky like silent meteors. They didn't explode. They didn't burn. They landed without a sound, outside the city. Milo, watching from the tower, flinched. They're alive, he said. Each one holds something. Rin raised her weapon. What kind of something? Milo closed his eyes. He could feel them, creatures, part machine, part shadow. Built to spread inside colonies. Built to search. Built to hunt. They're coming for me, he said. They know I'm the one who can stop them. That night, Redvale changed. The quiet town turned into a war zone. The dark creatures, thin, tall, and fast, moved through the desert toward the outer walls. Their arms turned into sharp blades. Their eyes glowed red. They didn't speak. They didn't stop. Soldiers fired. Lasers lit up the night. The shield dome held, but only barely. A few of the creatures found weak points and slipped inside. One of them reached the school building and began cutting into the walls. Others climbed the towers, looking for power sources. Milo stayed in the chamber, hands deep in the control system. I can't fight them like a soldier, he said, but I can trap them. Using the satellites, Milo sent a command to the old mining drones hidden under the town. They woke up with rusty wheels and broken lights, but they still worked. He reprogrammed them in seconds. The drones rolled out of the tunnels, buzzing and sparking, surrounding the shadow creatures and holding them off. One drone exploded in front of a group, taking two enemies with it. Bren watched from the west gate. That boy just turned mining bots into soldiers. Rin nodded. He's not a normal child. He's a force. Suddenly, the main power line to the shield dome flickered. A shadow creature had reached the power core on the edge of town. We're losing the grid. Someone shouted. Without it, the entire colony would be open. The big ship would attack. Bren grabbed his gear. I'm going. You'll never make it alone, Rin warned. I'm not going alone, Bren said. Inside the chamber, Milo looked up from the console as Bren ran in. We need to save the shield core, Bren said. Or it's over. I'll guide you, Milo replied, through the tunnels. I can control the doors and lights. Let's go. Bren and two soldiers entered the maintenance tunnels. Milo stayed behind, eyes fixed on the screen, tracking them in real time. As they moved forward, shadow creatures appeared on the maps nearby, fast and hunting. Milo triggered gates to close behind them. He opened side doors to block enemies. He shut off lights to confuse the attackers. Still, one of the soldiers was caught and pulled into the dark. Keep going, Bren shouted. We're close. Milo opened the final gate just in time. The shield generator sat in a small room, humming weakly. Sparks flew, wires burned. The shadow creature stood beside it, trying to drain its energy. Bren didn't wait. He threw a shock rod at the creature's back. It screamed no voice, just static, and turned. It jumped toward him. Bren ducked, fired once, then twice. Nothing. Then Milo activated a floor pulse. Energy shot up from the metal. The creature froze. Bren slammed it with the rod again and kicked it back into the power cell. The lights returned. The shield dome blinked, then turned bright again. Back in the chamber, Milo let out a breath. It worked. Rin's voice came over the radio. The dome is stable. We've pushed back the first wave. But Milo didn't smile. It's not over, he said. He turned to the screen. The black ship in orbit had stopped moving. But now, something at its center was changing. A round shape opened on its underside. A beam of dark energy pointed straight at Red Veil. Milo's hands moved quickly. It's preparing to fire, not at the shield but at the core. It wants to destroy what I'm connected to, if it hits the chamber. Bren's voice broke through. You won't survive. I know, Milo said. That's why I have to go deeper, to the final link. What final link? There's one more system, a fusion line. It's buried under the core chamber. If I connect myself directly, I might be able to send a counterpulse, but it will take everything I have. Milo, that's too risky. Milo looked at the screen. His voice was calm. I was made for this. And I'm not afraid. He stood up and walked to a sealed door behind the console. It had never been open. Now it unlocked by itself. Beyond it was a round room, glowing white. At the center, a chair surrounded by old cables. Bren's voice came through the radio. I'm coming to you. No, Milo replied. Stay with the people. Protect them. That's what you're best at. And you? I'll be their shield. He sat in the chair. The cables wrapped around his arms, his head, his chest. A voice echoed. In the chamber, deep and familiar. Core link confirmed. Final connection accepted. Begin transmission. Milo closed his eyes. The energy flowed through him. His body glowed. The chamber shook. Above. The dark ship charged its weapon. But now, something was rising from the ground. A Kodak of Viunda Foggy. Pulse of bright light, growing stronger. A fight between dark and light had begun, and at the center of it all was a boy no one had understood. The sky above Red Veil was no longer calm. It burned with red and black streaks as the dark ship prepared to fire. From the surface, the colony looked small and quiet, but deep under the ground, something powerful was happening. Milo sat inside the final chamber, his body glowing with light. Cables were connected to his arms, chest, and head. Energy flowed through him, not just from the machines, but from the core of the planet itself. Ancient system, long asleep, was now fully awake. And Milo was part of it. In the command center above, Bren stood beside Commander Rin, watching the giant screen that showed the enemy ship in orbit. It's charging something, Rin said. That beam, it's pointed straight at the core chamber. Bren clenched his fists. He's in there. He's going to take the full hit. We need to get him out, she said, but a deep voice came through the speaker. No, Milo said. I'm connected now. I can stop it. But I need more time. Rin stared at the screen. He's just a child. No, Bren said quietly. He's more than that. He's human, but also something new, something we don't fully understand. Rin hesitated, then nodded. Then we protect him as long as we can. Outside the colony, the ground shook as more enemy creatures landed. They were larger, now twice the size of the first wave. Their bodies shimmered with dark armor. Their claws crackled with stolen power. The defense drones tried to stop them, but many were destroyed in seconds. Shadow creatures stormed toward Red Veil's walls. The colony's weapons opened fire. Beams of light shot through the sky. Explosions echoed in the desert. Still, The enemy pushed forward. Milo sat quietly, even as the battle above grew worse. His mind was deep inside the network. He saw everything: satellite data, enemy movement, colony power lines, people's voices. He wasn't just controlling machines anymore. He was the machine. But inside he still felt like Milo. "I'm afraid," he whispered. A soft voice echoed in his mind. It sounded like his own. "It's okay to be afraid, but you're not alone." Images flashed across his thoughts. Bren's smile, the bullies who once mocked him, the teachers who ignored him, and the people who now called him a hero. "I don't want anyone else to get hurt," Milo said. And then his eyes opened wide. "I know what to do." Above, the enemy ship fired. A dark beam shot down like a sword of shadow, aimed straight at the core chamber. But just before it struck, a wave of blue energy rose from the earth, Milo's pulse. It met the beam in the air. The sky flashed white. Deep hum filled the colony. Windows rattled. Rocks cracked. The beam stopped. The enemy ship shook, surprised. Inside, Milo gasped for breath. His body trembled. The pulse had worked, but it had cost him strength. Bren's voice came through the speaker. "Milo, are you all right?" "I stopped the beam," Milo said, breathing hard. "But it's not enough." "What do you mean?" "The ship is learning. It's changing its attack." Back in the orbit, the enemy ship opened again, but this time, it dropped something new, a single black pod. Larger than the others, it fell like a burning comet and smashed into the desert just outside Redv from the crater. A massive figure rose. It was not like the other creatures. It was tall like a tower, covered in dark armor that moved like liquid. Its head had no face, only a bright red core in the center. It moved slowly, but every step shook the ground. "The main weapon," Milo said. "It sent a commander." Commander Rin watched through the scope. "What is that thing?" Bren's face hardened. "The thing from the dark." The creature moved straight toward the colony wall. Tanks fired. Lasers struck it. Nothing worked. It absorbed every hit, its red core glowing brighter. Milo focused harder. "If I connect to the fusion line, I can send one last pulse. Stronger, maybe enough to destroy it." "But you said that's dangerous," Bren said. "You might not survive." Milo didn't answer. Rin turned to Bren. "If we lose that boy, we lose the colony." Bren stared at the ground, fists clenched. Then he lifted the radio. "Milo, if you do this, I'll be with you." The fusion chamber opened. It was filled with light and heat. The walls glowed. The cables sparked. Milo stepped in, the cables pulling tighter. Energy wrapped around him. The system began to hum. "Final link in progress. Warning, energy overload possible." "I'm ready," Milo whispered. "Begin." Outside, the Dark Commander reached the wall and smashed through it with one hand. Soldiers ran. Explosions filled the air. The colony's last defense stood in its path. Bren, holding a shock rifle, and a small team of miners with tools turned into weapons. "We hold the line," Bren shouted. "He's buying us time." The creature charged. Bren fired. So did the others. The Dark Commander swung its arm, sending 2 men flying. Bren was knocked to the ground. His arm burned. He got up again. "Come on." He growled. Below the ground, Milo screamed. His body glowed like the sun. The energy burned, but he held on. He saw the creature. He saw Bren. He saw the people. And he pushed everything he had, every part of him, into one final command. Now! The ground exploded with blue light. A massive pulse rose into the sky, like a second sun. It hit the Dark Commander directly. The creature screamed, its red core cracking. Then, it burst into dust and fire. Above, the black ship blinked. Its systems flickered. Then it turned. It pulled back, rising into the sky, leaving Red Veil behind. Silence. Smoke filled the air. Bren stood slowly, covered in dust, staring at the empty desert. The enemy was gone, the colony was saved. But deep under the ground, the fusion chamber had gone silent. The sun rose over Redvale, painting the sky with soft orange light. The battle was over, but the town was quiet. People walked slowly through the streets, some holding each other, some cleaning the damage. The colony had survived, but inside the deepest part of the old core chamber, something was still silent. Bren stood at the entrance, looking down at the fusion room. The cables were dark now. The light was gone. He whispered, "Milo?" There was no answer. Outside, Commander Rin gathered the townspeople in the square. "We fought hard," she told them. "And we won because of courage, teamwork, and hope." She looked at Bren. "Where is Milo?" Bren's face was serious. "He gave everything to save us. Now he needs time to heal." No one spoke. Everyone understood. Inside the chamber, Milo lay on a metal table. His eyes were closed. His breathing was soft but steady. The machines around him hummed quietly, repairing his body and mind. The fusion energy he had used had almost burned him out. But Milo was still there. He was tired, but alive. Bren sat beside him, holding his hand. "You did something incredible, kid," he said. "You saved all of us." Milo's eyes opened a little. He smiled weakly. "I only did what I was made to do." "No," Bren said firmly. "You did it because you care. That makes you more than a machine. That makes you human." Milo looked up. "What happens now?" "We rebuild," Bren said. "The colony. Our lives. And you rest." Days passed. The shield dome remained strong. The satellites in orbit kept watch. The colony repaired the walls and homes. People started to believe in a better future. Milo grew stronger every day, learning to control the energy inside him. He could feel the machines, the earth, and the stars. He was no longer just a strange boy. He was their protector. One morning, Bren took Milo to the top of the storage tower, the same place Milo had first watched the stars. They looked out at the wide desert and the sky beyond. "Look at that," Bren said. "You did this." Milo smiled softly. "I never thought I would belong anywhere." "You belong here," Bren said. "With all of us." Milo looked up at the stars. "I want to learn more," he said. "About the world, the machines, and myself," Bren nodded. "And we'll be right here to help." Back in the town square, Commander Rin spoke again. "We faced a threat unlike any before," she said. "But with courage and unity, we survived. We honor Milo, the boy who became our shield, and Bren, the man who never gave up." The crowd cheered. Milo and Bren stood together, not as outcasts, but as heroes. Life in Redvale slowly returned to normal. Children played again. The mines worked safely. People talked about hope. And Milo, the strange boy no one understood, became a symbol that even in the darkest times, one person's light can protect many. As night fell, Milo stood alone on the tower again. He looked at the stars and whispered, "I'm ready." The sky was vast and full of mysteries, and Milo was ready to face them all.